At 5:12 a.m. on April 18, 1906, the city of San Francisco was shaken awake by a violent earthquake. In less than a minute, buildings crumbled, fires ignited, and thousands of lives were changed forever. The Great San Francisco Earthquake remains one of the most devastating natural disasters in American history. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble, more than 80% of the city was destroyed, and over 3,000 people lost their lives. But the earthquake was more than just a geological event. It exposed the fragility of booming cities, the resilience of human spirit, and the power of nature to reshape history. This is the true story of the Great San Francisco Earthquake of 1906. At the turn of the 20th century, San Francisco was one of the fastest-growing cities in America. With its bustling port, booming economy, and cultural diversity, it was often called the Paris of the West. The city had a population of about 400,000 people. Mansions lined Nob Hill, immigrant neighborhoods thrived in Chinatown and Little Italy, and gold rush fortunes had built skyscrapers that touched the clouds. But beneath its streets lay a hidden danger, the San Andreas Fault. Scientists today know this fault stretches 800 miles through California, marking the boundary between two massive tectonic plates. In 1906, few understood what this meant. The city was unprepared. At 5:12 a.m., most San Franciscans were still asleep. Then, the ground began to shake violently. Windows shattered, chimneys collapsed, and walls crumbled. The quake lasted just 45 seconds, but it felt like an eternity. Observers reported that the ground rolled in waves, like the ocean itself had risen beneath the city. Railroad tracks twisted, streets split open, and buildings swayed until they collapsed. The earthquake was estimated at magnitude 7.9, one of the strongest ever recorded in North America. Its power was felt from Oregon to Los Angeles, and as far inland as Nevada. But the shaking was only the beginning. When the earthquake struck, gas mains ruptured, water lines broke, and chimneys toppled into houses. Small fires started everywhere. With the city's water system destroyed, firefighters had little to fight the flames. Strong winds fanned the fires into an unstoppable inferno. For 3 days and nights, San Francisco burned. Entire blocks were reduced to ash. Neighborhoods vanished overnight. Some residents used dynamite to blow up buildings in hopes of creating firebreaks, but the explosions often spread the flames instead. By the time the last fires were extinguished, more than 500 city blocks were gone. As the city collapsed, panic spread. Families fled their homes, carrying what little they could. Some camped in parks and open spaces. Others set up makeshift shelters along the waterfront. Looting broke out in some areas, leading soldiers and police to enforce martial law. Anyone caught stealing faced harsh punishment. Yet amid the chaos, stories of heroism emerged. Neighbors pulled survivors from rubble. Nurses and doctors treated the wounded in improvised hospitals. Ordinary citizens shared food, blankets, and water. In tragedy, the people of San Francisco showed resilience. The official death toll was reported as 700, but historians believe more than 3,000 perished. Many deaths in Chinatown and poorer districts went unrecorded, as officials downplayed numbers to protect the city's reputation. Tens of thousands were injured, and more than 200,000 people, over half the city's population, were left homeless. Refugee camps sprang up in Golden Gate Park, the Presidio, and even the middle of city streets. Tents, wooden shacks, and soup kitchens became the new normal for survivors. The earthquake was not just a natural disaster, it was a humanitarian crisis. Despite the destruction, San Francisco refused to die. Almost immediately, efforts to rebuild began. Architects, engineers, and laborers worked day and night. New building codes were introduced, requiring stronger materials and earthquake-resistant designs. The devastation became an opportunity to modernize the city. By 1915, less than a decade later, San Francisco hosted the Panama Pacific International Exposition, a World's Fair showcasing its rebirth. The city presented itself not as a victim, but as a symbol of resilience and progress. The 1906 earthquake also transformed science. It led to major studies of the San Andreas Fault and how earthquakes occur. Seismologists documented ground shifts of up to 20 feet, a dramatic demonstration of tectonic power. Their findings laid the foundation for modern earthquake research. The disaster showed the importance of preparedness. It also warned that San Francisco, and California as a whole, would always live under the shadow of seismic danger. The Great San Francisco Earthquake remains one of the most iconic disasters in U.S. history. It reshaped the city, advanced science, and changed how Americans thought about natural disasters. It also left behind countless personal stories, of families torn apart, of courage amid chaos, and of a city rising from ashes. The earthquake became a symbol not just of destruction, but of survival. The morning of April 18, 1906, changed San Francisco forever. In less than a minute, the earth shook, fires raged, and lives were lost. But from the ruins, a stronger, more resilient city emerged. The Great San Francisco Earthquake is a reminder of nature's unstoppable power, and of humanity's enduring strength to rebuild. Even today, as San Francisco looks toward the future, the memory of 1906 remains etched into its history, a story of destruction, survival, and rebirth.